Alrighty, so today we're going to be covering pages 66 through 70, and we're going to be talking about yeast. So yeast breads are a little bit different from quick breads, which you guys read about yesterday. And the difference is what the leavening agent is. Okay, so yeast breads, as the name implies, are going to use yeast as their leavening agent. So examples of that would be loaf bread, round bread, pizza crust, rolls, all the really good kinds of bread. So when you think of yeast bread, you're obviously going to think about what are the ingredients. And the ingredients include flour, which everyone knows what flour is, but it's the main ingredient, and it's really the flour that makes the bread, but all the other ingredients within it are necessary in order to make the bread, the flour work, and come to its full glory. We also have gluten. Gluten is a protein that forms the structure of the bread. We also have liquid in yeast bread. Now this liquid can vary. It can either be water, milk, buttermilk, it can be potato water, juices, anything like that can be used. You need to have sugar. Sugar is very important for yeast. You cannot use artificial sweetener if you're making yeast bread. You need to have sugar. And then there's salt, and then there is the salt's important because it controls the rising process and flavors the bread. And then we also have fat, which this could be butter or oil, and it's used to help the bread retain its moisture. And also some yeast dough recipes call for eggs, but not all of them do. And then we of course have yeast, and yeast is a very key ingredient to yeast bread, as you can probably tell by its name. So what is yeast? Well, yeast is a living organism, and it needs three things to grow. It needs food, moisture, and warmth. So what you're going to do next is you're going to find out how yeast works. And to do that, you need to pause the video here to watch your Edpuzzle explaining how yeast works in bread. Okay, so hopefully you found that very interesting. I personally think that the fact that there's like a living organism in bread, I find that fascinating because we usually don't associate that with bread. We usually associate that more with meat or vegetables or something like that. But in order for yeast bread to come into existence, it does require the use of a living organism. All right, so what about baking bread? There is a lot of different methods for baking bread. We're going to be specifically talking about what it looks like to make yeast bread. So I found another video for you because I think visuals really help with this kind of stuff. So it's time for another Edpuzzle. So pause the video here and go ahead and watch the Edpuzzle that is talking about baking bread 101. Okay, so hopefully you found that super interesting. And what you're going to do now is you're going to open up your book to page 70 and you're going to complete the section review there. And I know today is a short day, but it's good to have short days when we're so close to the weekend, right? Well, I mean, we're in the middle of the week, but we're getting closer. Okay, thank you. Bye.